trying to say words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Always looking for more. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception
exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
And good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to the heart of the Pocono Mountains as we are here at the Pocono Raceway for race number 4 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. Pocono, for its most part in the past here on the Duracell Cup Series schedule, played host as the third to last race of the regular season down that home stretch to drivers being able to maybe snipe a final playoff position. But the schedule underwent some changes. It's the first time we see one of those changes. It has been moved way up the schedule here in the early portion of the year, but still going to bring about the same type of characteristics that it has in the past. We're going to see a lot of passing for position, a lot of tight corners here, so it's going to be very difficult to make said passes. You can go double wide through that tunnel turn, one of the high-speed areas, but we've seen drivers make the mistake of trying 3 wide, and that doesn't usually always work out. Normally, we'd end up having calamity down the Long Pond Straight, and of course, as well, a lot of times Pocono has those long green flag runs, which then seem to stream into green flag pit stops and pit strategy around the end of the race. So will that be the case here today? We'll have to wait and find out. If you're just joining us here this season, it has been all Fords, all blue ovals. They dominated at Daytona with Chris Dallerton getting the Great American Race checkered flag. The following week, it was Fords once again, as you ended up having Mitchell Collins go to victory lane. And last week, same song, just different verse. Another Ford going to victory lane, but our first rookie winner on the season, and that was William Hoer, who in a photo finish with R.J. Bishop was able to pick up his first career victory. Subsequently, he comes into this race as the points leader as well. And continuing on the trend of the domination of the Fords, we've got another Ford that is going to be bringing us to the green flag today as Samuel Ryder, a rookie out of KB Racing Enterprises, nabbed the pole position earlier on today. He will share the front row with veteran Benjamin Miles in the number 25 Chevrolet Camaro out of Northeast Motorsports. Toyota, Chevy, and of course the single Mazda, they're still trying to break into victory lane. The blue ovals, the Fords, continue to have a stranglehold on it. But we're going to find out in just a few moments who's going to be able to pick up a victory here at the Tricky Triangle. 56 laps await us. Before we can do anything, though, we got to go down trackside for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
We progressively were getting smaller in terms of the track length from Daytona to Manassas to Las Vegas. And we've now gone back to a 2.5 mile speedway, same length as Daytona here at Pocono. Starting lineup is on the right side of your screen. You will also, in a few moments, see the previous winners here from Pocono Raceway. And while we only had, I think it was only one driver last week, Ryan Butcher, a former winner at Las Vegas, that took the green, 4 of the 5 drivers that have won here previously at Pocono are in the field here today. Carson Gum, Cody Lamas, Jose Mills, and Reggie Fogelman picked up his first career victory here 1 season ago. That was, of course, when he drove the Dodge out of 4 Racing Enterprises. And he is rolling off 5th on the grid there in that number 24 Mobil 1 Chevrolet. So Reggie looking for back-to-back victories here at Pocono Raceway. William Hoer, as mentioned, is the points leader after his victory last week. The driver that came up just short of nabbing that victory away from him. RJ Bishop is second. He's 11 points back. Reggie Fogelman, defending winner of this race. He's third in points, 14 points out. Levi McIntyre is in fourth. He's 20 points back, and Laura Chung jumped up into the top 5 after last week. She is 25 points behind the points leader. Rest of your top 10, the standings look like this. Ali Liera is 6th. Mitchell Collins in 7th. Jack Dunnard in 8th. Matt Haas jumped up 16 spots. He's now 9th. And Dylan Young cracks the top 10 for the first time this season. 37 points separate the top 10 in the point standings. Pace car ready to make that left-hand turn to pit lane. The long front straightaway here where they can take it 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide if they were so inclined. Green flags in the air, and we're racing in the Pocono Mountains. Matt Haas going to be the only one to step out there and look 3 wide. That'll be for the 3rd position. Keith Batson and Benjamin Miles, who really fell back there, had to lift going into turn 1 on that high side. And Haas will go from 5th up to 2nd. Started this race from 7th. He's already picked up 5 spots in a matter of 1 corner. And he wants more. Drives it deep there into turn 2. Maybe a little too deep as he had to breathe the throttle, and that allows Samuel Ryder to pull away. Joshua Osborne, Keith Batson, Reggie Fogelman going to mix it up here with Matt Haas for that runner-up spot. Up at turn 3. Looks like our first lap is going to be completed under green flag conditions, but hard battling from about 5th place on back as Sam Ryder will lead lap number 1. Matt Haas will move to 2nd. Osborne into 3rd. And then it looks like Keith Batson mixing it up with Benjamin Miles and Jesse Turner in the 47. Now the caution's out. Saw the lights there, just above the safer barrier. Must have had something happen over in turn 1, perhaps. So they got to make their all the way still around. They were not even halfway around the racetrack when that caution flew. Samuel Ryder, who had opened up almost a full second back to Matt Haas, probably didn't want to see that caution as he'll come around here to the flag stand. There you see the yellow flag waving. They'll pick up the pace car. Not sure where the pace car is at this point in time. Looks like pace car's over in turn 1. So who was involved in our first caution of the day? It may have very well been last week's runner-up finisher and second in the points, RJ Bishop. Trying to look for visible damage on the Kroger Ford Mustang out of Young Motorsports. I don't see anything, at least at initial look. There you see skid marks up on the top side of turn 1, so RJ may have gotten hooked in the left rear quarter panel, perhaps. May have gone for a slide and saved it. But brings out the yellow flag nonetheless. Let's go back and take a look. I don't think Bishop has any damage, or at least nothing that's going to take him out of this race, but he is going to lose track position as a result. He crossed the line last time by in 24th as see them all moving around, jostling for position. They were almost 4 wide. Jack Dunnard, Michael Norman, RJ Bishop, and Rob Evans. And I think that RJ was trying to give room to the 22 that was below him, and he just didn't have enough space to move up. Rob Evans was already there, and Rob couldn't go anywhere because he had the outside retaining wall right next to the right side of his machine. See if we can get another look at it here. Mentioned the fact that driver's going to utilize this very wide front straightaway to be able to make moves, setting up passes into turn 1. Yeah, Michael knew he was 4 wide with the 88 of Dunnard, and I'm not certain that RJ Bishop knew that that was the situation. It was a rather late move 4 wide for the 88 of Dunnard, so maybe not enough time for the spotter to indicate the 4 wide situation. Here's a look from our helicopter cam. Watch the 88. Ducks low. Norman sees it. Yeah, Bishop was already almost up into that left front of Rob Evans, and Michael Norman squeezed him up there a bit too, so I'm not necessarily certain that RJ Bishop really was the reason that that all happened. Michael Norman may have run him out of room a little bit there. When you're going into turn 1, you want to swing out the car as wide as you can so you can drive it deep and get as much optimal entry speed as you possibly can. That might have been why Norman moved up as high as he did there. Looked like he had a pretty good amount of space between himself and Jack Dunnard when they were going into turn 1, so may not have been as much giving room to the 88 as it was trying to take as much room as possible for a good entry into turn 1 from RJ Bishop. Pit road was open. Everybody came to pit road. Joshua Osborne won the battle off of pit lane, followed by Jesse Turner, Benjamin Miles, Matt Haas, Levi McIntyre. I'm going to assume that your top 6 may have gone with fuel only, may not have changed tires, or if tires were changed, maybe they only changed right sides. Reggie Fogelman. Actually, correction, nope. So our running order is slightly off, just based on the fact that a number of drivers cross the start-finish line on pit road. We got to actually wait till they come around here, cross the start-finish line again before we can tell you who officially is where. But we know the top 5, we told you. Zachary Fitzwater appears to be 6th. Samuel Ryder, who led us back to the caution, he's going to be restarting in 7th. Trying to tell whose car that is behind him. Is that Dylan Young? We'll wait till they all cross the line here. Get you the official running order, as we're still going to have another lap here under pacing. There are a few drivers, and now it is fixed. I was going to say there are a few drivers that the indicator did not show that they had made a pit stop, but now it has updated itself and can confirm everyone came down pit road under this caution period. Alright, so let's give you a rundown of who is where. We'll start up at the race leader, Joshua Osborne. Jesse Turner 2nd, Benjamin Miles 3rd, Matt Haas in 4th. 5th is Levi McIntyre, Zachary Fitzwater 6th, Samuel Ryder 7th. Dylan Young is 8th, so I was right. I thought that was the Wawa Ford Mustang I saw there in that 8th position. Keith Batson 9th, and Jessica Shelton completes the top 10. And 11th is Reggie Fogelman, Carson Gum 12th. Laura Chung 13th, Will Howard, the points leader, he's in 14th, and Kyle Matthews completes top 15. 16th place, we find James Qualls, 17th, Mitchell Collins, Ryan Butcher's 18th, 19th is Nathan Ormond, and Daniel Voiles is going to complete your top 20. RJ Bishop, a little bit of an extended stay on pit road, just making sure that they had the fenders clear, but he's returned to the racetrack, so all 42 drivers are still running and are still on the lead lap as we work our first caution of the day here at Pocono Raceway. Should get the lights out atop the pace car next time by, I do believe, so we should go back racing on lap 7 of 56. Still a long ways to go. Mentioned at the reading off of the point standings, William Howard, points leader, Reggie Fogelman 3rd, Laura Chung in 5th. Well, they're mixing it up in the rookie point standings as well. Howard right now with a 1-point lead over Reggie Fogelman, and Laura Chung sits only 5 points back in 3rd. Jack Dunnard, he's 4th in rookie points, he's 7 points back, and then Zachary Fitzwater and Benjamin Snyder, they are in a tie for 5th. They are 11 points out of the points lead. The way that the rookie points work, for those that are wondering, is the number of rookies that we have this season, which are 13 in total. It comes down to the top 10 best finishing rookies each race. The highest finishing rookie gets 10 points, the 10th highest finishing rookie gets 1 point, and obviously subsequently 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 for the rookies that finish in between those particular positions. So if you end up getting Rookie of the Race, you get 10 points. Now, if you end up being one of the 3 rookies that do not finish inside of the top 10 rookie finishers, you get no rookie points for that particular race. So that's how the rookie points work out. 13 drivers battling in the rookie class this year. Benjamin Snyder, Caleb Vogler, Noah Hendrickson, Samuel Ryder, who started in the pole, Quentin Moore, Rick Johnson, Reese Banks, Destin Boland. amongst those already listed that are battling for the Rookie of the Year title. Highest of them right now would be Zachary Fitzwater in the 66, with Samuel Ryder right behind him. They are 6th and 7th on this upcoming restart. So who are some of the drivers to keep an eye on here today to try and turn around what's been a horrible start to the season? Well, Jesse Turner there in that 47 might be one to watch. He is 35th in the point standings, an average finish of 29th in the first 3 races, and he has not scored a top 10 yet this season. Other drivers that are also below him in points that haven't scored a top 10, Keith Batson, Jessica Shelton, Dylan Poteet, Anthony McCrory, Benjamin Miles, and Cole Deaver. As the green flag is back in the air, Cole Deaver has only scored 15 points in the first 3 races of this season. He's got an average finishing position of 38.3. That's almost a dead last finish every single race so far. So he is definitely one to keep an eye on here today, trying to turn his luck around as Jesse Turner wastes no time getting by Joshua Osborne to take the race lead in the 47. Matt Haas moves into second place. Levi McIntyre into third, and Haas wants the race lead. Looking low there going into turn 3, but not going to have a lane coming off the final corner. Turner will hold him off, and he'll lead them back to the stripe. Hopefully everybody minds their P's and Q's here and giving room going into turn 1. That's what brought out our first and only caution to this point. How about this? Nice move by Matt Haas. Got the nice draft down the front straightaway. Showed the nose early enough to let Turner know he was going to be there. And he will clear for the top position off of turn number 1. It's like Turner may have gone a little wide there. He lost momentum, and Levi McIntyre is going to get a nice toe down this long straight. Going into turn 2, pulls right up to the back bumper of the 47. He was bringing Zachary Fitzwater with him, but Fitzwater nearly got that safer barrier off of turn 2, as he'll drop back in that 4th spot. The Toyota of Matt Haas out in front. Toyota does not have a victory here at Pocono yet. So far in its history, Ford's been to victory lane once. Chevrolet's been to victory lane 3 times. And Dodge has a victory here, of course, last year with Reggie Fogelman. Little drafting there, courtesy of Keith Batson, will propel Zachary Fitzwater by Levi McIntyre for 3rd, and battle for the lead may be on here off turn 2, headed for turn 3. Jesse Turner got close to the back bumper of Matt Haas, couldn't do anything with him. He'll try again here, see if he can get the power down off of turn 3. Ooh, that's a nice corner and a nice exit for Jesse Turner. He's going to have a decent run here down to the start-finish line. Does he show the nose going into turn 1 as we are looking 3 wide behind Reggie Fogelman? Samuel Ryder, looks like Benjamin Miles going to be the one to back out of that, as into turn 1, Jesse Turner looking to take the lead back. If anybody remembers last year's Pocono race, it was, to say the least, a wreck fest. We had cars wrecking every which way possible in that one. Overcast conditions here today, a little bit more grip in the racetrack, a little bit higher speed. It's the first time the next-gen cars in Duracell Cup Series competition have been to Pocono. And, you know, we ended up having where not a lot of room was given. That brought out our first caution, but we haven't really seen anything quite to the scale of aggression that we saw in last year's Pocono race. So this may end up being on the side of the spectrum of pit strategy Pocono rather than try and survive Pocono that we saw back in Season 5. About Zachary Fitzwater there out of Evans Gardner Motorsports. He's going to take a turn out in front. Now, Fogelman last year was a rookie, teaming up with Chris Washer and Daniel Silla as, oh my gosh, that was gutsy by Levi McIntyre, to say the least, going 3 wide for second through the tunnel turn. But Fogelman last year won as a rookie. We just had a rookie go to victory lane last week in William Hoer at Las Vegas. So Fitzwater, who's making his first full-time season with the Chevrolet team, stars may be aligning for him. There is Fogelman that we just mentioned, the defending winner of this race. Great outing so far in the 6th position, now looking for 5th on Joshua Osborne, and he'll complete that pass rather easily through turn 1. And there is last week's winner, points leader William Hoer in the 83 car, charging his way further up to the front. He was 9th last time by. I think he's now up to 7th, if I'm not mistaken. Talk about the drivers that have those horrible average finishing positions here in the first 3 races. William Hoer has an average finishing position of pretty much a top 5 every race, 5.67. 1 win, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s. I don't recall the race that he finished outside of the top 10 where exactly he finished, and oh my goodness, this is crazy back here. Jessica Shelton, Ryan Butcher, Carson Gum mixing it up. Nathan Orman's in that mix. There's Dylan Poteet entering into the vicinity. There's a lot of jostling for position there, just outside of the top 10. James Qualls trying to reel in his Joanna Atwood Motorsports teammate Joshua Osborne. Qualls was 11th last time by. He's now up to 10th. As Jesse Turner got around Matt Haas for second, and now he looks to reel Zachary Fitzwater back in. Mentioned that it's first full-time season for Zachary Fitzwater. He did run 12 races last season in the 12 car for Evans Gardner Motorsports, teaming up with Jackie Halleck and Andrew Lemke. Still looking for his first career win, though, in Duracell Cup Series competition. Second place, Matt Haas. Good run. Shows the nose going down towards the tunnel turn. Looks like he's going to think better. He backed off. Going to tuck back in line. Let's go back here because this is where all the fun is. This is from about 7th position on back. James Qualls, Jessica Shelton, Reggie Fogelman, who almost brushed the wall there. He got really tight off of turn 2. Pole sitter Samuel Riders here. Ryan Butcher. These drivers mixing it up. Shelton's working her way to the front. Doing a great job working her way to the front. Started 13th. Dropped back a bit after the only pit stop we've had today. And last time by, crossed in 9th place, and she is making forward progress. Pocono is a tire shredding racetrack, so if you can preserve those good years on the long run, you are going to be fast. And look at that. Reggie Fogelman completely messed up the entry to turn 1, and Shelton's going to blow his doors off. William Hoer and Keith Batson, this is for 5th. As now Levi McIntyre up ahead. He's trying to take 2nd from Jesse Turner. Couldn't do it. He'll have Matt Haas to his outside here, but might complete the pass around Haas here out of 3. No, not quite. Matt Haas able to take a longer way around and might have gotten back to the throttle a little bit sooner. I'm looking further back in the field because I thought I saw for a brief moment possible front-end damage on the 61 of Anthony McCrory. Let's drop back there and just see, because I don't know if there was maybe contact on pit road or contact on the racetrack. Okay, no, it was just a visual thing on my end. He does not have damage. I thought that maybe he had run into the back of somebody, and I was kind of curious to see about that. Chris Dollerton, Daytona 500 winner. He dropped 8 spots in the standings last week at Las Vegas. He is 16th in the point standings. Now remember, for him, Mitchell Collins and William Hoer, all our former winners, they've already completed the one task, and that's find victory lane. However, they have to keep the consistency up as well. They cannot fall outside the top 25 in points. If they do, their win is basically considered null and void in terms of a playoff position. So they have to keep themselves up there in the point stand. Dollarton is the only former winner right now that is outside of the top 10 in the standings. Mitchell Collins is 7th, and William Hoer is obviously the points leader. And it'll be the same for any driver that wins here today, next week, on down through the remainder of the regular season. If they win, and they're in the top 25 in the points, they've locked themselves up a playoff spot. But they have to stay above that cut line. Matt Haas putting the pressure on Zachary Fitzwater for the top position. William Hoer is now cleared into 3rd. That 83 car is strong every single week. Came up short in the Daytona 500 by about half a car length. Picked up the victory last week. That rookie out of Blue Oval Automotive, he has been turning heads. Ooh, was that time he did mess up turn 1, and he'll be under fire from Jesse Turner for that 3rd position. Trying to look and see which driver has picked up the most spots since the start of this race. And I believe that it would be Charles Sanford, who started this race from 35th, and last time by, he crossed the stripe in the 19th position. So Sanford has picked up 16 spots since the start of this race. Remember, Charles had a really good car back at Manassas. Led the most laps in that race, if I recall correctly. He is 11th in the point standings coming into today. He is really still the only S3 Motorsports car that has had a decent start to the season, as we nearly had a wreck right there. Saw Keith Batson have to take a quick turn to the left to avoid running into the left rear quarter panel of Jesse Turner. And look at Levi McIntyre drive it in deep. Man, he attacks turn too, does Levi. We saw him dive it in 3 wide earlier on, and that time tried to make a pass on Jesse Turner for what would have been the 5th position. Now we've had an exchange for the lead. I didn't even see that take place. Matt Haas did get around Zachary Fitzwater, so his 2nd time out in front today. But the other S3 Motorsports cars, Kyle Matthews had a decent run last week, so he's up now to 27th in points, but Shelton's still mired down in 38th, and Cole Deaver still in 42nd, as Carson Gum saw that bright green, well, I don't know what you call that, bright blue-green, light teal, number 19, Mountain Dew Baja Blast Chevrolet, the inaugural winner here, all the way back in Season 1 at Pocono. Former champ in the Duracell Cup Series. He's 12th position. He was trying to get by Jessica Shelton and Samuel Ryder. Great run here today. I just noticed by all the KB Racing Enterprises Fords. You've got Keith Batson up there in the top 5. Last time by scored in 4th. Nathan Ormond in 9th, and Samuel Ryder started on the pole, and he's 11th. So they're all doing really well. And we might have pit stops here. Oh, guess not. Normally when they're coming to pit road here at Pocono, they run real low down there into turn 3, and I thought maybe a couple of them were doing that, but nope, they faked me out. Be interesting to see what the pit strategy is too, because we ended up having that caution to break everything up. We went back green flag racing on lap 7, so next time by they'll have been on the racetrack for 14 green flag laps on this run. How many more times do they have to come to pit road if this thing remains under green flag conditions? Do they only have to come to pit road one more time, or will they have to be to pit road twice? And if the answer is twice, that 2nd and final pit stop might be near the end of this race. So I said at the top of the program, Pocono is one of those tracks that's very well known for down-to-the-wire fuel strategy, and that might be the case here today. That might happen, and I think Fitzwater is indeed pitting this time. Yep, so is Will Hoer. Jesse Turner's coming down as well. Certainly don't want to run the risk of running out of fuel. So some of those other drivers that are staying out, hopefully they've got enough in the tank to make it around another time. Joshua Osborne, Dylan Pote, Benjamin Miles, Dylan Young down pit road this time. Got a bunch towards the back that are coming in. Vogler, Dollerton, Reese Banks, Anthony McCurry, Ryan Brommer, Michael Norman, Nick Gunther. He just made contact with Dylan Pote, trying to get into his stall. RJ Bishop's in, Rob Evans as well. And look out coming off pit road. Benjamin Snyder also is in that lap. Looks like Jose Mills may have already made a pit stop. He's just barely ahead of the leader. There he is in the 38 car. I think he already has been to pit road. I think he pitted the lap prior. Here comes Matt Haas onto pit lane. James Qualls stays out, so he'll get a lap-led bonus point. Looks like he'll make it the furthest of just about anybody. Levi McIntyre behind Batson, Nathan Orman, Jessica Schulten, Reggie Fogelman, Ryan Butcher. See a whole bunch of them there towards the back as well. Let's see who all decided to stay out. Charles Sanford stayed out, Daniel Boyles. And James Qualls. Looks like those were the only 3. So bear that in mind. They can go 1 lap further than everybody else. That could be important. But if my calculations are right, when we went back green on lap 7, we just ran 16 laps under green flag conditions. Add that, tack that onto the 23 laps now completed. That only puts us to lap 39. However, if you tack another 16 laps onto 39, that puts us at lap 55. Oh boy. These drivers will absolutely have to be to pit road at least one more time, more than likely around the lap 40 mark, but then it could be super, super close, and that could make Qualls, Voiles, and Sanford's pit stop here, as late as it was, very important in the closing stages. Of course, if a caution comes out, that muddies the waters and completely changes up everything. As it looks like Matt Haas is going to more than likely re-inherit the lead. Fitzwater didn't let him get away, though. Fitzwater's still right there, hounding him. Let's see where James Qualls cycles around, because I think Qualls was up inside the top 10 when this cycle began. We'll see if he's going to still remain inside of the top 10, maybe even inside the top 5. There he is. Looks like he cycled around to maybe 5th. Came down a much less congested pit road. We ended up having a bunch of other drivers that were towards the rear, mid-pack rear of the field, that also came down pit lane, it looks like, the same lap as Charles Sanford, James Qualls and company. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to be able to be a factor into the outcome of this race as far as the win, since they weren't up towards the front. But we will wait and see on that. Looks like whatever damage Nick Gunther may or may not have sustained when he got into Dylan Pote, it hasn't affected either one of them. They've returned to the track. They appear to be up to speed, and they are still on the lead lap. Last time by for Nick Gunther, he was scored in 35th. Dylan Pote was scored in 13th. But I do not see where either one of them had an extended stay on pit lane to repair any damage. Oh, Matt Haas, that was looking like a really nice turn 3, but look at, with them double wide, how it's allowed William Howard to reel them in. And William, if he sees that gap up the middle, he might take it. No, instead, he's going to stay behind Zachary Fitzwater, propel him out to the top spot, and try and swing around Matt Haas for second. Nothing doing. So you've got the veteran in Matt Haas, former Daytona 500 winner. You've got the rookie who's made a number of starts last year, Zachary Fitzwater, and then you've got the rookie William Howard in his first full-time season, first ever starts, and already a former winner this season. Mixing it up here at the front, Toyota, Chevy, and Ford. Right now, your top 3. The way it cycles out after that round of green flag pit stops, Jesse Turner is now up to 4th, James Qualls is 5th, Keith Batson 6th, Levi McIntyre is 7th, Nathan Ormond is 8th, 9th Ryan Butcher, and Joshua Osborne crossed the line in 10th last time by. Reggie Fogelman is 11th, Jessica Shelton in 12th, Dylan Poteet's 13th, Mitchell Collins 14th, Samuel Ryder in 15th, Jose Mills is 16th, 17th for Carson Gum, 18th Charles Sanford, Daniel Boyles, and Benjamin Miles complete the top 20. You see the rest of the lineup scrolling on the top of your screen. All 42 drivers are still running and on the lead lap. We've only had one caution here today. That was in the early stages of this race. For the drivers that have been out in front, so far Zachary Fitzwater has led the most laps, total of 9. If Matt Haas can complete this lap, he will have led 8. And then 3 laps led for Joshua Osborne, 3 laps led for Samuel Ryder, our pole sitter, and 2 turns out in front, 2 laps out in front for Jesse Turner and James Qualls. That's it. Pocono's been rather stingy today with lap leaders. Far cry from what we had in our last couple of races at Manassas and Las Vegas. We drop back here to the battle for the 6th position. McIntyre, Osborne, going to make their way around Nathan Ormond. Now under fire from Ryan Butcher's Toyota. And Ormond, just like that, is going to lose 3 spots. Mitchell Collins going to swing around the outside of Samuel Ryder, our Manassas winner, making his way up towards the front. That would have been a pass, I do believe, for the 11th spot. So Mitchell Collins looking to crack the top 10 for the first time today. Shelton peeking low on Samuel Ryder. Maybe 3 wide with Reggie Fogelman. Carson Gum right there as well. We will be 3 wide. Fogelman's going to lose a couple spots as he has to bail out. Ooh, Carson drifts up a bit there out of turn 1. It's going to bring Fogelman back to him. Shelton should be able to open up a bit of daylight. So right now, I would say Haas, Hoer, Fitzwater, they don't want to see a caution in terms of the gap they've got to 4th place on back. They might want to see a caution in terms of where they're at fuel-wise. But what about drivers that would certainly be lobbying for a caution at this point, as we've still got all 42 cars in the lead lap, but obviously there's some that are struggling, and RJ Bishop would be one of them. I didn't see any visible damage when he had his spin that brought out our only caution up to this point, but obviously looks can be deceiving as he's, I'm guessing, off the pace. He's right now way back behind even the next car. You see almost a straightaway up to Jack Dunnard in the 88. 8th in points for Jack Dunnard. This is not the run he was looking for after what's been a pretty good start to the season for him. His teammate Austin LaPlante not faring much better. So a couple of the Northeast Motorsports Chevrolets struggling here. LaPlante was scored in 40th. Destin Bolin. Destin was one of the strongest cars last week at Las Vegas. And right now he is 39th. He just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by. Did the 12 car. Noah Hendrickson back here. A couple of Toyotas. Well, Ryan Brommer right ahead of him. Rob Evans in the 65. Michael Norman in the 22. Now remember, Norman and Evans were involved in that caution. Evans was the one that was blocked up on the top side when Bishop went around in front of him, and Michael Norman was the one that either made or was close to making contact with Bishop that sent him up into Rob Evans. But right now those two are scored in 35th and 36th. There's the 55 of Nick Gunther. You can see he is still up to speed. Not necessarily certain if the contact he made with Dylan Pote was with his left front or maybe right behind his left front wheel. But apparently it has not affected him speed-wise, as he's still running right now in the draft of a former winner here at Pocono, Cody Lamas, back from Season 2. Cody's not running all that well right now, back in 33rd. And the other car that Gunther got into, Dylan Poteet, is running up here, just outside of the top 15, was 17th last time by. So here's one of the cars that was one of the first ones to pit lane, Jose Mills, winner here at Pocono 2 seasons ago. I was curious to see, we saw that James Qualls benefited, picking up some spots, coming down the latest of the drivers up at the front, since he had a rather clean pit road to be able to work with. I wondered if the same would be said for Jose Mills, since he came down earlier than everybody else, but he's only been able to make his way up to 18th place. There's Charles Sanford in the 03. Again, if you're keeping track of the drivers to watch, if this thing comes down to late pit stops of who can go the furthest, the last 3 drivers to hit pit road during our first cycle were James Qualls, Daniel Voiles, and Charles Sanford. And right now, they are all running up inside of the top 16. Collins for 10th on Joshua Osborne. Actually, that would be for 7th, or rank that 8th rather. And up ahead, good battle here. We've not focused much on the front because there hasn't been a battle for the lead. Matt Haas still holding about 0.4 of a second over William Hoer. Fitzwater's dropped back to 3rd. And then it's a big gap back to 4th place, Jesse Turner and this group of drivers. It's right now about 4 seconds from the leader back to 4th. About 3.2 seconds from 3rd back to 4th as they run right now. More than halfway through this race, we crossed that threshold at the completion of lap 28. About 6 laps away projected from when these drivers will be coming back to pit road. And for a few of them, possibly for their final time. It's been a very clean Pocono race. Love it when it's that way because of the possible strategy that could play out at the end. Next week, these drivers will be heading to the West Coast, as we'll be in the desert at Phoenix Raceway. And then a debuting track the following week. We go short track racing at North Wilkesboro. Did some preseason testing there, and let me tell you what, that should be a good one. Talk about a wild card race. That should certainly be a wild card race. It looks like the racing's going to be incredible. Passing is going to be a lot of fun to watch. There are a lot of unknowns coming into this season with the next-gen car. The schedule got a facelift. A lot of new tracks added onto the schedule as well. You saw a number of them during the preseason Thunder live streams. And so far this season, we've only got 3 races in the books, and the racing has been unbelievable. Granted, Daytona was a wreck fest, but it had an exciting finish. But Manassas and Las Vegas, boy, some great speedway racing in those, and some exciting finishes came out as a result in the past 2 weeks. Now we can watch this battle up at the front, because Fitzwater and William Hoer start to close in on Matt Haas for this top position. Last victory for Matt Haas in his career last season, the Daytona 500. Toyota still looking to break into winner's circle here in season 6. I do believe the fastest car on the racetrack right now might be that 33 of Mitchell Collins. I've been watching him here back in this group, and he has been putting his car where others aren't and making it work. He'll fall prey to the Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolets there. Qualls and Osborne will get around him as he was trying to make the move on the top side out of turn 3, but Mitchell Collins got one of the fastest cars on the track right now in terms of long run speed, so bear that in mind. Don't know if it means much, but the fastest lap so far today has been laid down by Nathan Ormond, who right now is scored in the 11th position. Nathan clocked in at a 53.825, which equals out to about 167.4 miles per hour. And Nathan's been up here inside the top 15 pretty much the entirety of the day, trying to crack the top 10. Up here at the front, outside the 83 of William Hoer and Mitchell Collins. All these other drivers looking to find victory lane for the first time this season and secure themselves a playoff spot. For Hoer and Collins, they're just trying to continue to rack up bonus points. When the playoff points are put together, every victory you have during the regular season is 5 bonus points per win that you carry into the reformatted standings. And sometimes we've seen that those bonus points, they don't guarantee, but they certainly help your chances of moving on to the next round. Of course, the bonus points don't carry over from round to round. NASCAR does that, and I don't agree with it. The points reformat, they reset from the round of 16 to the round of 12, round of 12 to round of 8. You get bonus points during the round of 16, those would carry over to the round of 12, and same applies from round of 12 to the round of 8, but you don't carry the bonus points from the round of 16 over to the round of 8. I just don't agree with that whole thing with their system of playoff points for stage wins and whatnot. But to that end, William Hoer and Mitchell Collins, as well as Chris Dollerton, the more trips to victory lane they can get here this season, not only the better their chances of early on securing a playoff position, but also maybe securing themselves a spot into the round of 12 before even taking the green flag in the round of 16 to start the playoffs off. Here we go with Hoer, Turner, and Fitzwater on pit lane. Looks like Jose Mills is in this lap as well. Remember, he was one of the first on pit road during the first cycle. A lot of Fords here. Dylan Young, Chris Dollerton as well. Benjamin Miles. Rob Evans is in. Nick Gunther, Michael Norman, and I believe that was Ryan Brommer. This is right around when I said that the next pit stop was going to be right around the lap 40 mark. So if you can make it to the completion of lap 40, maybe lap 41, you should be good to go. Those drivers that came to pit lane came down to completion of lap 39. And if 16 laps is the furthest they could go, that would put them 1 lap shy of the finish. Interesting. Matt Haas is in, Mitchell Collins, Osborne. Bunch of drivers back there from the, well, we'll call that the third group. We know that Sanford, Voiles, Qualls, they'll stay out as long as they possibly can. It's like Keith Batson also stayed out. He actually just took the race lead from James Qualls. Qualls was the leader at the stripe the last time by. I'd say that these drivers right here, if they come to pit road this lap, they should be able to make it. If they can go one more lap, they absolutely can make it. Let's see if Batson and Qualls are coming down this time. Looks like they are. Orman's in this lap. He had stayed out. I didn't realize that. Samuel Ryder. So all 3 of the KB Racing Enterprises Ford stayed out that extra lap. Voiles in. Deaver. Rick Johnson. Where's Charles Sanford? Did Sanford pit the last time, or did he stay out another lap? I think he stayed out. According to our telemetry, it looks like he stayed out the extra lap. He did. Look at that. Now, was this the right call? Does he have enough fuel to make it back around? If he can make it back around to his pit stall under power, this might be the only guaranteed car of making it to the checkered flag without having to come to pit road again. Well, you can hear he's backed the pace down a bit, though. trying to make sure he gets back to pit road. May throw the clutch in here through turn 3. Still hear the engine. Thing's still under power. Might throw the clutch in again here, coming to pit road. Get every last drop he can. Is this the race-winning strategy for the driver out of S3 Motorsports? We will wait and see. As I believe the 83 of William Hoer is going to cycle around to the race lead, and he's going to have a huge gap. If I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, he's going to have a big gap back to Zachary Fitzwater. So I don't know what happened with Matt Haas on that last pit stop, but it did not work out to his benefit. He's now dropped back to 4th, losing a spot there. 3rd place to Jesse Turner, and he's under fire from a couple more Fords, Mitchell Collins and Keith Batson. Well, Hoer, Fitzwater, Turner are drivers that we know were some of the earlier to come to pit lane. If indeed the numbers check out correctly, I don't think that those 3 can make it to the checkered flag without coming to pit road at least one more time, if we stay under green flag conditions. Matt Haas pitted the lap after. So is it the 8 that's in the right position? If it's not, then you'd have to look at this battle between Keith Batson and James Qualls. They came down the following lap. And then if they can't make it, then you'd have to think Charles Sanford would be the only one that could make it. Charles is right now, well, last time by was scored in 8th. We'll wait for that to update. I don't think that's where he's actually running. Yeah, he's actually down in 20th, is Charles Sanford. I think a big thing that hurt Charles Sanford on that strategy was he was out there on older tires, and he was trying to save fuel to make it back around. So he lost a ton of time to everybody else that had come back off of pit road with fresh Goodyears. He's just now finding a place in line. They had him freight trained on the top side, and he could not get back down to the inside line. He's now falling outside of the top 20, but doesn't mean anything if the top 22, 23 cars ahead of you are not going to be able to make it without coming to pit road. As long as you can keep everybody else ahead of you within, I would say, 25 seconds or so, then you should be able to pass them when they come to pit lane. Last time by, Charles was scored 16.5 seconds behind the race leader. So, if it does come down to it, Charles is within striking distance to pass them all, if indeed they cannot make it the rest of the way on what they've got in the tank. So, it'll be a very nerve-wracking final 10 laps of this race. Looking at Reese Banks in the 44. And the reason I'm looking at him is he's right now in the 18th position, and restarted shotgun in the field. And did we just have the 2 in the wall? I think we did. Dylan Young just got himself a pretty good pancaking to the right side out of the tunnel turn. We'll see if there's any visible damage as he comes around here out of turn 3. I can't see anything visibly, but then I couldn't see anything visibly on RJ Bishop, and he's obviously off the pace. And look how this stacked up. Everybody here behind him on the front straightaway, so we may not be done with cautions yet. We've only had 1 today. As we get closer to the end of the race, the aggressiveness level picks up. Mistakes are more frequent. One guy who does not want this thing to have a caution would be that 0-3 of Charles Sanford, though. Let's move back up to the front, see if anything has developed in terms of reeling in race leader William Hoer. And, well, we've had an exchange for second. Matt Haas got around Zachary Fitzwater, and he appears to be closing in. Let's see about lap times. 55.0 for William Hoer. 54.2 for Matt Haas. His fastest lap of the race just laid down there. So Matt Haas is coming. Wants that race lead. Fitzwater's in 3rd, Jesse Turner's 4th, Mitchell Collins right now in 5th. And then Keith Batson, James Qualls, Levi McIntyre, Joshua Osborne, Ryan Butcher. That's your top 10. How about Levi McIntyre? We really haven't talked that much about the driver of the 99. He's been in the top 10 all day long. Levi started this race from 21st, worked his way up inside the top 10. He was inside the top 5, actually battling for the lead for a while. Oh, and the caution is out. Caution flag waves. This changes everything. Now what do you do? You've been out there from anywhere to 8 to 10 laps on these tires. You might be close on fuel, but you could maybe save it here under pacing. Oh boy. Ooh, don't stack up, don't stack up, don't stack up. This has been too good for us to stack up under pacing. Come on. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yep, we're just gonna keep wrecking. Well, this was a good race. Now Dollarton, Young, Poteet, Sanford. Oh, of course. The driver that we were looking at is maybe the favorite with the strategy to win. He's got front-end damage now. Snyder, Moore, Voiles, Matthews, Ryder, Mills, Banks. They've all got front-end damage now because nobody wants to use brakes. Ryan Butcher. Well, whoever caused this caution ruined a good chance at a exciting finish, and now we've got torn up race cars as a result. We'll stay here with the race leader and see if they are going to come to pit lane or if they're going to stay out. Once we determine that, then we will go back and see what brought out the caution. Looks like they're all staying out. So they were all borderline, and this pacing period is going to allow them to make it the rest of the way. I think we're going to have some drivers that just got damage here under the stack up, though. They're going to come down pit road. Yeah, just about everybody that got the front end damage is on pit road. That's annoying. Not gonna lie, that is annoying. Well, let's find out who it was that brought out the caution for the second time today. Don't know if we'll be able to pinpoint exactly who or exactly what. See who was towards the back of the pack here. That may have been responsible, and might have been the 61 of Anthony McCrory, it looks like. It's got some pretty good damage from what I could see, and oh yeah. Actually didn't start with him. I think it begins with the 25 of Benjamin Miles? No. 93 of Rick Johnson. Here it is. This is going into turn 1. Runs up the track into Caleb Vogler and can't get off of him. McCrory sees an opportunity to make some passes. Oh man, there's a shot from Benjamin Miles, and Destin Boland was also involved. And then look out oncoming traffic. Oh, Laura Chung, I think she was involved. And Michael Norman may have grazed the inside wall. Let's take another angle at it. I don't know if the fenders were locked between the 93 and the 28. And Johnson just couldn't get off of him, or what the case was here. Here's a look again. It's like the 28 backs off, and the 93 was already there. And Anthony just comes flying in, makes contact there with the 93, and the wreck just continues there on the Long Pond Straight. Not the best of camera angles. There you see Destin Boland going on by with the whole left front sheared off. See if we can get another replay here with the 61 being the car that we're focused on. He sees them off the pace. He sees a lane. They're drifting down the racetrack. And then right there, when McCrory gets hooked in the right rear, nowhere to go. Oh, Benjamin Miles just plows right in. And then I want to see about Michael Norman and Laura Chung. Did they indeed get involved? I think Chung got into the back of Benjamin Miles. So I'm not sure if Norman got into the wall or not. Let's see. Watch these two. Chung right there. Yep, Chung definitely was involved. I think Michael Norman was okay. I saw some sparks. I thought I saw some sparks coming off the left side of that car, which made me think that he had hit the inside wall, but actually I don't think he did. I think he got through that unscathed. We're not even going to take a look at that stack up because that's not replay worthy and it'll just annoy me more. So, we'll bring it back to live action as we should have a shootout here today at Pocono. So back-to-back weeks where we have a shootout. Last week at Las Vegas it was a one-lap dash. And here today it'll be with less than 10 to go. Not certain exactly where we're going to be at. Maybe 5 laps? 5 laps remaining? Well, the driver is back in the garage area, just based out of sheer stupidity. Include now Kyle Matthews, Dylan Young, Rick Johnson, Dylan Poteet. They're going to finish in 37th through 40th. Drivers that were out of the race just based off of being involved in that wreck, that would be Destin Bolin and Benjamin Miles. So the struggling season continues for a number of drivers, including Rick Johnson, Dylan Poteet, and Miles, as they all came into this race running no higher than 34th in points. Destin Bolin actually has been struggling this year too. He was 33rd in points. So all of those drivers, they are trying to find just a little bit of luck to come their way, and so far, they have come up short. Lights out top the pace car, so it will be a 5-lap shootout here at Pocono. This caution has completely thrown fuel strategy out the window. This is a long 2.5-mile racetrack, plenty of opportunity to save fuel, so anybody that was 1 to 2 laps short could have definitely saved it here under this pacing period. Do not think last-minute pit stops will be part of the storyline here today. So you've got what you've got. Everybody's bunched back up. William Hoer looking for 2 wins in a row and only his 4th start. He'll be the one to lead us to green. Matt Haas will line up in 2nd. Zachary Fitzwater 3rd. Jesse Turner's 4th. Mitchell Collins in 5th. Keith Batson 6th. James Qualls 7th. 8th. Levi McIntyre. 9th. Joshua Osborne. And Nathan Ormond completes the top 10. Pole sitter Samuel Ryder trying to go coast to coast. He's got a lot of cars to pass, but he'll restart in 11th. Carson Gums 12th. Cole Deaver en route for his best finish of the season. He's in 13th right now. Ali Liera and Cody Lamas complete the top 15. Caleb Fogler 16th. Jack Dunnard 17th. Austin LaPlante 18th. 19th. Noah Hendrickson. And Ryan Brommer completes the top 20. Let's take you all the way through the field here for what's going to more than likely be our final restart of the day. Nick Gunther will restart 21st. Laura Chung in 22nd. 23rd. Michael Norman, 24th, Jessica Shelton, Anthony McCrory. Got to think that car is going to be somewhat badly damaged and off the pace, but he'll restart 25th. RJ Bishop, 26th. 27th, Rob Evans, Reggie Fogelman, 28th. Reese Banks, 29th. 30th, Jose Mills. And the rest of the drivers still running down through 36th. Benjamin Snyder, Ryan Butcher, Charles Sanford, Quentin Moore, Chris Dawerton, and Daniel Voiles. 5 laps to go here at Pocono. William Hoer going to lead him into turn 1. It will be Mitchell Collins, the first one to show the nose up towards the front, as he'll look inside on Turner for 4th. And Haas with a late move into turn 1 is going to catch William Hoer by surprise. He's going to go to the race lead here out of turn 1. Savvy move by the veteran, and now maybe looking 3 wide down the long pond straight. Zachary Fitzwater. He'll drive it in deep into turn 2. Will he lift, though, is the question. Lifted a little bit, and it's going to cost him. Haas will keep the lead. Hoer pulls to the outside for 2nd place. As Matt Haas now in control of the field out of turn 3. 3-way battle for 2nd. Mitchell Collins going to join this group. And Fitzwater got pinned on that inside line, did not get the exit off of 3 he was looking for. And now Mitchell Collins to his outside for 3rd place. Joshua Osborne maybe looking low there, 3 wide into turn 1. Is he there? He is. Ooh, near contact between those two. As Osborne will pick up a couple of spots. He's now up to P3. Bear in mind, too, we may not be done with cautions, so wreck takes place from here on out. We'll stay up at the front because they would technically be racing back to the checkers. Race would end under yellow at this point in time. Bo Mitchell Collins, that was a horrible place to be there through turn 2. He's going to drop back from 3rd to maybe 6th or 7th. Turner battling with Keith Batson. This is for, I believe, 4th. It's actually for 5th, and you see the 27, Reggie Fogelman, coming to pit road. We're getting reports that he was black flagged for a restart violation, so Fogelman, the defending winner, is going to drop out of the 25th position to serve that penalty in the closing stages of this race. That's a tough break there for him. The 80 of Noah Hendrickson also on pit lane. Not certain what is going on with his Toyota as lead change, perhaps. Hoer drives it deep into turn 2. Not going to be able to make it work. Matt Haas will keep the spot, and now Joshua Osborne jumps to the top side to take advantage. And I think he's going to get that second spot. He's got the preferred middle outer lane out of turn 3. And now Osborne looking for the top spot. He'll look to reel in Matt Haas for the lead. Things still really wadded up from about 7th place on back. A lot of jostling for position. 3 wide, almost 4 wide back there mid-pack, as we are at less than 2 to go. Still a Toyota versus a Chevy versus a Ford, except this time the Chevys have swapped places. Instead of Fitzwater, it's Osborne. Matt Haas and William Hoer, they've been the mainstays for their specific manufacturers all day at the front of the field. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Matt Haas is a Pennsylvania resident, so this would be a home track win if he is indeed able to close out the deal. He's got 2.5 miles and a hungry Joshua Osborne as well as William Hoer behind him. Flagman waves the white flag over the hood of Matt Haas's Toyota. Will it be a battle for the lead? Will it be a battle for second? Osborne drives it really deep into turn 1, and he might have been able to make it stick. He did. He nearly wrecked Matt Haas there, but he was able to make a lane, and now here comes the 83 of William Hoer for the top position. Down the Long Pond Straight, headed for turn 2. William Hoer can't lift this time. Oh, he's going to force it in. Almost made contact. Does he keep it in the throttle? He couldn't. Osborne's got him stacked up for second place. He's got him side by side. Joshua Osborne trying to pull away out of turn 3. What a move by Osborne last time through turn 1. It's gonna pay off. Joshua Osborne can finally call himself a winner in the Duracell Cup Series. He takes the checkered flag here today at Pocono Raceway. What a move on the final lap for Joshua Osborne. Started out his career as a non-charter driver back in Season 4 for Evans Gardner Motorsports. We didn't see him at all in Season 5, but then came back full-time here in Season 6. And Joshua Osborne will get his first career win. It's the first win of the season for Joanne Atwood Motorsports, and it finally snaps the Ford stranglehold on the checkered flags. 3 in a row, but finally a bow tie breaks into victory lane. First career win for Joshua Osborne in that 27 team. Osborne started this race from the 9th position, led 4 laps today, and led the most important one. Had to hold off a hard-charging William Hoer there through the tunnel turn. But he knew he had the preferred line, was able to get them side by side between Hoer and Haas, and just hit his mark through turn 3. And it was a cakewalk from there to the start-finish line. What a great job there by Joshua Osborne. Back-to-back weeks where a driver gets their first career win here in the Duracell Cup Series. Osborne, however, not a rookie, so not back-to-back rookie victories here in Season 6. As Matt Haas will get the second position from William Hoer. Hoer will bring it home in third. His consistent finishes up inside of the top 5 continue. He will still keep the points lead. There's no doubt about that heading into Phoenix next week. Mitchell Collins, another former winner, will bring it home in 4th. Keith Batson in 5th. James Qualls in 6th. So you had 2 of the Jam cars up in the top 6, up inside the top 10. Zachary Fitzwater, I believe he was the second highest finishing rookie behind William Hoer. He gets 7th. Jesse Turner in 8th. Where in the world did Cody Lamas come from? He's going to bring it home in 9th. Great run there for the 13 car. Cody, 31st in points, really needed this run today. Carson Gum, former winner here at Pocono, going to complete the top 10. Levi McIntyre dropped out of the top 10 late. He finished in 11th, though, had a strong 4 today. Samuel Ryder, who started on the pole, will get 12th. Ali Liera, 13th. Jack Dunnard in 14th. And Caleb Fogler is going to complete the top 15. Deaver, LaPlante, Ormond, Brommer, and Gunther. Well, actually, no. What did I miss there? I missed something there. Norman, Deaver, LaPlante, Ormond, and Brommer. That's your top 20. Gunther in 21st. Chung, Shelton, and Mills. I believe those were the last drivers that had hoods. And then everybody else that finished about 3 seconds behind them, they all had damage and were just trying to get whatever spots they could after that stack up we had following the second and final caution of the day. Banks, Evans, Moore, Snyder, Sanford, Dalton. That's a tough break for Charles Sanford right there because I really feel like he had a car that could have won here today. Not sure exactly what happened to Reggie Fogelman prior to getting involved in that stack up because he looked like he had a strong Chevrolet in the early going. Same for Ryan Butcher. They were both up inside of the top 10 at one point in this race, and they completely fell off. Well, Fogelman actually, we know too, after the wreck that he was involved in that stack up, he actually had to come to pit road for a black flag. Not certain what the situation was on Noah Hendrickson, but they were the last 2 cars to finish. And then out of the race were the cars of Kyle Matthews, Dylan Young, Rick Johnson, Dylan Pote, Destin Bolin, and Benjamin Miles. 5 of those 6, my goodness, they have really struggled this year. Dylan Young, the other DNF driver, he came into this race 10th in points. So first appearance inside the top 10 in the standings this season, and up to this point, probably the only one, as he will more than likely fall outside the top 10 with this DNF. But the point standings are going to get another shakeup. There's no doubt about that. Different drivers finishing well, different drivers not finishing well, all came into the point standings in different situations, whether running up at the top, middle, or bottom of the point standings, and it'll be interesting to see what the points look like heading into next week's race in the desert at Phoenix. But congratulations to Joshua Osborne on his victory here today at Pocono. First career win in the Duracell Cup Series for that driver. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race here from the Pocono Mountains. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We showed you your full finisher results. You're now looking at your point standings heading into next week when we will be at Phoenix Raceway, continuing on the 6th season of the Duracell Cup Series. But I've been Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your day. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.